friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 398. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. Another Wednesday, another time to go back to this man right here. Mike from That Chapter. That Chapter Wednesdays, y'all. Hope y'all doing excelente out there today. And I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to fuck with the bean. And the title of this video is When a Killer Doesn't Realize He's Going to Prison for Life. Now, I know what I just said. We on Reaction Beanie 398. So I would say at least probably like 100 at the very least of those videos that we have did, y'all, as far as this true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious, what is going on type of videos. Man, I have said plenty of times that I feel like at the very least, if you commit murder, if you kill someone, you should at the very least go to prison for the rest of your life. I mean, some people may feel like I'm a little too harsh when I be saying the stuff that I be saying sometimes, and I get it, you know what I'm saying? We all think differently. But I just feel like if you do a crime like that, you gotta do the time. Now, for some of y'all know too, I'm a huge proponent of the death penalty. Now, that's what I really feel like people should get. You know what I'm saying? Murderers should get. But like I keep saying though, at the very least, man, give them life in prison, bro. 10 years, 5 years, whatever, all that craziness, 25, get out. No, man, we not doing none of that. Get out after you did 30 years, you got a chance of parole. No, we not doing none of that. You kill somebody, point blank, period, life in prison. And I'll say this too, real quick. I understand, man. I really do. Honest to God, I understand. And it is real that some people out here have mental issues. Like, mental health out here is real. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes I struggle with mental health. You know what I'm saying? But not to the point where I kill nobody. But I'm just saying, I know that it's real out here. And I understand that everybody not all there in the head. But it still do not excuse that fact, my brothers and sisters, that you killed somebody, so you got to go to freaking prison for the rest of your life, man, if you ask me. Because, okay, that person got mental issues and all that. Okay, I understand it, but it don't change the fact that you done killed this person. You done took their life that they can never have back. You done damaged not only just them, you done ended them, but their family and all that. Like, you gotta be held accountable for that, regardless if you got mental issues or whatever. But I digress, man. We finna go and get into it. But before we get into it, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. Another That Chapter Wednesday. Y'all got what y'all need? Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, we are off to New York! The city that always... something. This is the story of Karina Vetrano, a young woman who one day in 2016, she went out for a jog. She never came home. This case attracted a lot of attention for many reasons. Them being the horrificness of the crime, the fact that it went unsolved for a time, and then how it was solved. For a lot of people, though, they say, you know, solved in quotation marks. I'll tell you the story and then you can tell me what you think. Before we get into it, please subscribe to see new videos every week. Now, let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. And get whatever you may need.
The year was 2016, the place, Queens, New York. South Queens, west of JFK Airport, lies the neighborhood of Howard Beach, jutting out into the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge. It's as suburban as they come, houses and not much else really. Not many stores or shopping districts, it's low-rise family houses till the neighborhood ends, with a bay to the south, a parkway to the north, an airport to the east, and to the west, Spring Creek Park, and then on the other side of that creek, you're in Brooklyn. As a family neighborhood, you know, it's a safer part of the city, right? You live there, you work in the city, and then, you know, in your spare time, there are parks nearby, you can head out for a jog. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. 30-year-old Karina Vetrano was one of those women who went out for a run in her neighborhood park, Spring Creek Park. Now, according to a survey by Adidas, right, because, you know, they make them little runners, 92% of women who go out for a jog have reported feeling concerned for their safety, versus 28% of men. That number is especially, of course, you know, during the dark hours. But Karina Vetrano, she went out for a jog in the middle of a summer's late afternoon in a park that was 1 block from her home. The only difference...
I just gotta say something about that stat that he just threw out real quick, man. That is one of those statistics out here that I don't think we ever could really, like, change. Like, drastically change. You know what I'm saying? Because he said 92% of women, when they go out for a jog, feel a little uneasy. They don't feel totally safe. You know what I'm saying, man? That is a huge percentage of women. But then on the flip side, only 28% of men feel like they in trouble. I mean, maybe we can change that 92 to 80 something, but it would never be like a 50-50 level of men. Well, no, I take that back. We don't want the men to start feeling more in trouble. We just want to reduce the level of women that feel like that. But I really don't honestly think it could ever happen. And a lot of it, to me, really just got to do with us as humans. And, you know, females in that situation just naturally gonna feel more in trouble than a man would. I don't know, man. But, you can't get mad at my sisters out there for feeling like that, because they are the ones who be targeted in these type of situations, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, y'all, I don't think that's something we can change, but it is something to think about. But let's get back to it.
With this jog for Karina was this time she went alone. She usually would go running with her father, but his back was at him. So, at around 5 p.m. on August 2nd, 2016, Karina went for a run in Spring Creek Park. After 5 p.m., she failed to answer her phone or respond to texts. Darkness soon fell in the park that hot August day, but Karina never walked out those gates. Karina Vetrano was born in 1986, a native New Yorker, daughter of Philip and Kathy. Karina grew up with 2 siblings, a brother
Damn, she looked just like her mama.
And a sister, and after receiving a master's in speech pathology, she went on to work with children that had autism in the city. Her dream, though, was to become a writer. She had her own website, Karina V, which she described as a collection of conversations, contradictions, and poetic conflicts. She would write poems, her thoughts on the world of growing up, little vignettes that captured moments in and around the life Karina led. I am a writer, not by choice, but by compulsion. I write my thoughts out, like this, to no one in particular. The majority of my life is on paper, every day, every year, for the past 10 years, in a collection of diaries. This is my life, through my eyes, and I invite you to take a peek into my work. It's chaotic and unpredictable, but I do believe that on some days, it's quite beautiful, in all its poetic little tragedies. In her spare time, she loved traveling and running, especially enjoyed getting them steps in. Maybe that's when she did her best writing in her head. Karina was very close with her dad, Philip, a retired FDNY firefighter. They went on road trips together, and they would go on evening runs together too. However, as I said, this time Philip just really wasn't up for it, and so Karina, after getting home from work that Tuesday afternoon, she went off for her usual jog by herself. Karina went into Spring Creek Park at around 5 p.m, but hours later she still hadn't come out. See, Philip and Karina had been clackety texting as she'd been running, but she had suddenly stopped. He already had his reservations about her going alone, but she was like, yeah, it'll be fine. See you in a bit. Be right back. Calls rang out, texts went unanswered. So then what Philip did was he went to a neighbour who was actually an NYPD police chief and asked him for help. They then called the police together and a search parties began looking in Spring Creek Park. They went in at about 7 p.m. Philip was already, as you can imagine, fearing the worst. You know what I mean? When she hadn't come back. It was shortly before 11 p.m. Night had well and truly fell. That Philip, he was the one who found her.
Damn.
She was about 15 feet off the main trail in the park, among the weeds in a marshy, quieter area. She was face down. She was dead.
And then Philip, he already, you know something wrong, like when you texting somebody and y'all texting back and forth and you already worried about them, then they just out of the blue just stop texting you, and you know they situation, what they supposed to be doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he already knew it was bad from the beginning. When she very first stopped texting him, my heart would have started racing like, oh my God, dude. And for him not to get texts back from her after hours, he knew it was something wrong, man. And it turned out to be the worst case scenario.
In her hands were weeds that she had tried to grab onto as she was dragged off the trail into the marsh. She had bruises on her face. Her front tooth had been chipped. She had been beaten quite badly. Her jogging pants had also been removed, so it appeared like she had been dragged off the trail, sexually assaulted, and then strangled to death. NYPD.
I mean, I'm just going back to what I was talking about before we started the video. Did y'all hear what happened to this beautiful young lady? And you mean to tell me that whoever did this don't deserve life in prison? At the very least? Shitting me. Y'all better be lucky I ain't around here writing these goddamn these sentences out and deciding who get what, cause boy, motherfuckers will be in trouble. All these murderers will be done for. Put them on the grill, put them in the skillet, put them in the goddamn oven. They are cooked.
PD officers immediately canvassed the area for anything suspicious and for any witnesses who had been in the park that evening. What was especially haunting, right, was that 10 years previous, back in February 2006, there had been an eerily similar discovery in that same park. Emmett St. Gillen, 24 years of age, from Boston, had been studying criminal justice in New York City. On a cold Saturday night in February, Emmett and a friend, they went out in New York City and they hit a couple of bars, from Pioneer to the Falls, before Emmett vanished. Her body was later found in almost the exact same state as Karina was, sexually assaulted and killed, found in Spring Creek Park. That case was soon solved. The second bar Emmett had gone to, the Falls, one of the bouncers there would eventually be charged with first-degree murder, among other charges, and was sentenced to life without parole. It was DNA that had solved that case. This case would be a lot more complicated. DNA was found on her fingernails and on her phone, but entering it into the database yielded no results. So whomever had done this was not one of those repeat offenders, or if they were a repeat offender, they were pretty good at it. Police had also located CCTV, which showed Karina running into the park, but no one was following her. This then led the police to believe that the killer had come in from a different direction. The park overlaps into Brooklyn, so the killer was likely from there.
Now, what I'm wondering now, y'all, is did this killer, like, plan this out as far as, like, for Karina, like, knowing he already had his mindset on that I'm gonna do this to her? Or was he just going to the park that day and the first young lady that I see running by herself, I'm gonna attack her? You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering that right now.
Will say a final goodbye to a woman murdered while jogging in Howard Beach.
As Karina Vetrano's family prepares to lay her to rest later today, we're learning police are getting closer to finding her killer.
Police are still searching here. This marks their 4th day of investigation. And this morning for the family and friends of Karina Vetrano, well, they are preparing for her funeral. A steady stream of mourners filled the Ozone Park funeral home, where a 6-hour wake was held for 30-year-old Karina Vetrano, the focus of remembering the bright young woman killed.
A fun person, an outgoing person, always laughing, always having a good time.
Overshadowed by the horrible way she was taken.
I said to the father, I don't know what to say. For the first time in my life, I have nothing to say.
As those who love her mourn her loss and try to console Karina's grieving dad, who found his daughter on the Marshy Howard Beach jogging trail they often frequented, the NYPD is frantically searching for clues that will lead them to the person who sexually assaulted and strangled her Tuesday evening. Carefully combing the dense area covered in tall weeds where Karina's body was discovered, the NYPD is employing drones and bloodhounds and making steady progress.
A reward of $20,000 was offered for information leading to an arrest, and the Vetrano family made sure this hit every single headline.
I thank Howard Beach beyond words, every single one of you. And now, look into my eyes, everybody, because I'm going to address the coward. Whoever you are, I'm here to remind you, in case you don't already know, that now it's the whole entire world against you. The whole entire world knows what a pathetic, puny, weak piece of filth that you are. Soon we're going to have a face to the dickless piece of garbage that you are. And above and beyond it all, you know that my daughter was a force to be reckoned with. And I guarantee you, you motherfucker, that you will be reckoning with that force. Not only for the rest of your pathetic life, but for the rest of eternity as you fucking burn in hell.
Yeah, I think most people would agree.
Now, see, I'm like, I'm with her mama all the way, and her mama really was holding it together. She ain't say exactly. She ain't say all the F bombs and the S words, and like she really could have got into it. But I'm with her all the way, y'all. I'm with her all the way, motherfucker. You gonna burn in fucking hell. I promise you that shit. I pray to God that you do at the very least. I can't promise it because we don't even know if hell and heaven. I'm not gonna get into all that. We're gonna leave the religious shit up out of here. But I'm just saying, man, motherfuckers who do this shit gonna get what they deserve, man. I believe that wholeheartedly. And they deserve to get what they deserve. I'm getting a little upset and emotional now, y'all. Because this is a human being, man. That's the thing, man. It was a beautiful young girl who got a life and was doing great and got a family who really care about her. She only 30 freaking years old, and an asshole just come decide that they gonna make her meet her maker? Gonna just decide that this is the end of your life, and then the things that he did to her? Fuck that. Go to hell. Go to fucking hell.
Would agree with what she said. Sounds about right. But like, where'd you find him? It would end up taking a lot longer than they would have liked. And now, a word from the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Because,
like, go to fucking hell, man. I hate these fucking murderers, y'all. I'm sorry, man. I can't make up no excuses for these bitches, cuz you killed somebody, bro. Your ass need. Man, I'm sorry, bro. You killed somebody, bro. I just can't. I don't even need no. If it ain't self-defense, if it ain't somebody who's about to kill you or your family member or do something to them or whatever like that, man, shit. Just a lady running in the damn park and you go attack her, rape her, murder her, throw her in the bushes like she ain't shit, like she ain't mean nothing to nobody on this earth, like she ain't have no value on this earth, like she just a piece of fucking trash. Get the fuck out of here. I done got mad as hell now, y'all. I hate that shit. Let me take it back right here. And let's go.
horrified by how much of your private information is out there on the internet. But Aura's got your back. Thank you so much to Aura for supporting that chapter. Now let's get back to our hunt for a killer. From where it occurred, a random crime seemed likely, but the police had to cross the T's. The family were cleared. The ex-boyfriend. No DNA matches from anyone close to her. There was a co-worker of Karina's at her part-time gig. Karina, in her spare time, she helped promote this club in Astoria. Apparently this co-worker of Karina's, he was a little, you know, he had a bit too many advances. He could be aggressive, he could be stalkery. But when the police went to him to have a go, he was working at the time for murder. In fact, as I said, due to it likely being random and DNA not bringing up anything, and questioning those around her not bringing up anything, the case quickly came to a standstill. The police simply had nothing to go on. You know, it's near a parkway, so it could have been a guy driving, stopped off and then drove off. He could be hundreds of miles away by now. Yeah. The Vetrano family kept pushing, but it seemed like they were pushing against a brick wall. It was almost a month later that a man contacted the authorities. A Verizon worker did happen to be in the park that day and saw someone they considered suspicious. See, this guy had been in the park around the time of the murder and he was wearing a wool cap. It seemed like he was running out of the park. A sketch was created and released of this lad. Tips did come in of this sketch and, you know, it's, oh, kind of looks like him, or him, or him, or him. None of them. Police followed up on all of these tips of who this kind of sort of looks like this guy, no. Wasn't any of the people were pointing fingers at. A GoFundMe was created by the Vetrano family as a reward leading to the killer, and eventually resulted in over $250,000 being offered. They had the billboards, they had the posters, and still, August became September, became autumn, and winter. This case didn't seem any closer to being solved than it was the day after.
That's kind of crazy, y'all. The fact that they put up a $250,000 reward and nobody still came forth and called whoever did this out, that right there lets you know that don't nobody know but that motherfucker who did it. And Karina, but rest in peace, she gone now. But this just lets you know there is no witnesses to this, because bro, I don't care, man. Your damn mama will tell on you for $200,000. Your sisters and brothers will tell on you for $200,000, especially if you committed murder. I tell on my brothers and sisters anyway. Hey, if any of y'all out there ever commit murder, don't let me know, because I'm gonna tell on your ass, and I don't even care nothing about no money. I just want you to reap what you sowed. You know what I'm saying? But no, y'all, for real, man, that's a huge amount of reward money for nothing to come from that. So now I'm thinking, how are we gonna get to who did this? Because right now it seems like we at dead ends with no evidence. Let's see how we get to find out who really did it.
Turn yourself in. I will make sure that reward money goes to the person of your choice, your sister, your brother, your mother. It's a life changer. You will be caught, so take advantage of that.
It was then in January 2017, right, that one of the detectives investigating the case decided to, you know what, start over, right? It's not like they were getting anywhere anyway. He then says to himself, he says, you know, a couple of months before, like in May 2016, a couple of months before the murder in Howard Beach, there had been a few reports of a suspicious character, suspicious lad going around. A couple of calls had been made. They saw this guy, they knew he wasn't from the area, he was loitering, people thought he might be casing out houses, you know, looking for cars to rob, looking for houses to rob. This detective actually bumped into him one day and asked for his name, and his name was Channel Lewis. When the detective bumped into him and saw him skulking around Howard Beach one day, the detective was actually off and he was driving with his daughters, so rather than work on his off day, he called 911 to report this guy.
911, where's the emergency?
Hi, it's not an emergency, it's a suspicious male.
He's wandering around the block?
Yes, walking up and down the blocks with a hood on, and just stopping in front of some houses, and he keeps going, then he stops.
Now, nothing really happened about that. They got his name and he kind of like jogged on. But this struck the detective as an suspicious character hanging around in the area. Maybe we should follow up on that. They literally had nothing else to go on. Or did they? So the detective decided kind of on a whim to look at this guy again, right? Channel Lewis. Young fella, 19 years of age, no prior records, and he actually lived in a neighborhood right beside Howard Beach. But in Brooklyn, the neighborhood was called East New York, and guess what? It touched the park. Channel lived with his mother, a Jamaican immigrant, and his 2 sisters, and he'd gotten into trouble a couple of times in high school, allegedly once telling a teacher, "I want to stab all the girls." That is no good. By all accounts, he was a loner who liked to go to neighboring Howard Beach a lot, as it was quieter than his own neighborhood, and he was very familiar with Spring Creek Park. Police went to Channel and he voluntarily gave them a sample of his DNA. DNA which matched the DNA found under Karina's fingernails. The police also found out that the day after Karina's murder, Channel had gone to a hospital because he had an injured hand. Now, when he was questioned about this at the hospital, he just said he'd been jumped by some muggers and he tried to fight them off. But the doctor then, speaking to the police later, would say it didn't look like that. And the doctor would say a foreign object was removed from his hand, which they believed to have been Karina's chipped tooth.
Damn. Think about that, y'all. She was fighting that hard for her life till she chipped her tooth biting his ass. I'm so glad they caught this motherfucker, man. And just the fact that he lying, talking about I got in a fight with some people is like, here come another one of these lying ass murderers. That's another problem I got with these damn murderers out here. They don't want to admit to the shit when they get caught. And he a dumb motherfucker any fucking way. Why your dumb ass gonna submit your fucking DNA knowing that goddamn you did it? I'm glad your dumb ass did do it though. All these fucking murderers get on my nerves, man. They piss me the fuck off.
I'm Detective Deal. We are located at the 107 Precinct, 2nd floor, Detective Squad area. Today's date is February 5th, 2017. Time is approximately 10:33 a.m. And I'm activating the tape this time.
Okay, we're present in the 107th Police Precinct. The date is Sunday, February 5th, 2017, and the time is about 10:33 a.m. My name is Peter McCormick. I'm an Assistant DA in and for the County of Queens. Present in the room with me at this time are Detective Barry Brown, ADA Michael Curtis, Video Technician Joseph Deal, and Chanel Lewis. Okay, all right, Chanel, why don't we start with, I think it was a Tuesday evening on August 2nd, 2016. Do you remember that date and that evening?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The police interviewed Channel, and he told them that he had, quote, finished her off.
Now, while you were in the park, did something happen?
Yes.
You said as she got next to you, when she got next to you as she was running and you were walking, what happened then?
And then, because of a past situation, I got angry and then started hitting her and stuff like that.
Okay. Before you did, where did you hit her?
Like in the face and like in the mouth.
In the face and the mouth. Mm-hmm. Before you hit her, did you grab her or did you just hit her right away?
I kind of grabbed her first.
Grabbed her? About how many times did you hit her in the face?
Around 5.
All right. Was she standing when you started to hit her or was she on the ground?
She was on the ground.
Okay. Was she still moving when you had your hands around her neck?
Oh yeah, and then she dropped into the water.
Okay. Well, when you had your hands around the neck, was she on the ground or standing up?
She's still on the ground.
On the ground. Face up or face down?
Face up.
All right. And then how did her face go in the water?
I was strangling we were near the water, and then I put her face in the ground.
Okay. Okay, the time is...
Talking about,
I'm sorry.
I was talking about something about... What you was talking about with him? Rest of what?
What?
Oh, what's that called again? Rest of what? You said it.
I said, did you have any friends in the area? You said no, right?
No, rest of wait, it was something...
This an old dumbass motherfucker. Like, See, man, I don't fuck that, man. On my goddamn, on our channel, y'all, we not goddamn, I ain't sugarcoat none of this shit. This a dumbass motherfucker, and if he do got mental issues, boy, I'm sorry, but goddamn, dude, he committed these crimes and he need to do this time, because it do kind of seem like he's slow. It do seem like something a little wrong with him, but I'm not the one to make excuses for people who do shit like this. I don't give a fuck. Get that life in prison, my boy, because you most definitely deserve it. You deserve more if you were fucking with me if I was the damn judge and the prosecutor and all that. Fuck that.
Channel Lewis was arrested and charged with Karina's murder.
It's a good day, but we can move forward now.
Channel's family now, they did not believe he had done it. They believed that the confession was completely coerced. And in fact, Channel Lewis, he did have learning disabilities. That the school he went to was a school for children with learning disabilities. They believed he was being set up. The police were just desperate to close this very high-profile case with a lot of pressure from the media, a lot of pressure from the family. So they bagged and tagged this guy.
He's a kind, gentle person, loving person. Yeah, well, I didn't go to her. He will never take another person's life.
Teresa Forbes.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Before I even started to try to, like, oh, man, so he, a mentally challenged person, and they kind of confirming that, you know what I'm saying? He went to the school for the mentally challenged and stuff. They confirming that, but what she's saying right there is a complete fucking lie, because his DNA has been found on that damn woman. So all this conspiracy about he was admitting to it, but he really ain't know what he was saying, and he really not the one who did it. Bull fucking shit. He did it. He mentally challenged. Hey, I'm sorry about all that, but at the end of the day, you murdered this damn lady. That point blank period, man. Fuck that mentally challenged shit. You a fucking murderer. Do the time because you committed the crime. Period.
Is adamant, saying her brother Chanel Lewis did not kill Karina Vetrano. She believes the police are setting him up.
They are framing him for the crime.
Channel Lewis went on trial in November 2018. He pleaded not guilty. His defense went with he was coerced into confessing, and also the validity of how his DNA was acquired, allegedly on a hunch, yet others didn't quite agree on that. Some of the things in his confession also didn't match the scene of the crime. Parts of his confession seemed, I don't know, almost scripted, leading questions, strangely worded answers.
And where were you at that time?
I was in at the Gateway and Spring Creek Mall.
Okay, by Gateway and Spring Creek Mall?
Spring Creek Park.
Park?
Yeah.
All right. Were you inside the park?
Yeah.
Okay. While you were in the park, well, do you remember what you were wearing that day?
It was a hoodie, a sweatpants, and a shoes.
Okay. And the shoes, were they shoes or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Okay. Do you remember what color they were, what kind? Okay.
For example, he says he drowned Karina, yet her body was not found near water at all.
Chanel, after her face is in the water and you pick her up and you drag her into the weeds, does she move at all at that point or make any more noises? No? At what point did she stop moving and making any sounds?
That's when she was under the water.
He also strangely could not remember what she was wearing that day.
The girl that was jogging, was she by herself or with anybody else?
By herself.
What did she look like? What was she wearing?
Well, I was going to say she looked like she was wearing a yellow tank top, maybe.
Okay. What kind of pants?
I wouldn't really know.
Were they long or short? Do you remember?
No.
You remember if they were long pants or short pants? No? Okay.
And he says the reason he killed her was because he was angry that day, that some of his neighbors were playing music really loudly.
Now, you said that you did this because you had some anger, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you tell me about that anger?
Because, you know, I used to live in a different address than I currently live at now.
Right.
And then sometimes there's this man that comes around there. He play like loud music and carry a lot of friends around there. I didn't like it because I feel unsafe and uncomfortable. And I like my place private and peaceful. And usually I just...
Okay. What place...
What the the fuck she gotta do with whoever that was playing some goddamn music? Man, bro, with my brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm freaking sorry, man. I can't get with it. I can't get with it, man. Cause the more we listen to this dude, it do sound like he got some mental problems going on. But I can't make that excuse. You did the crime, you gotta do the time. And I understand because I'm sitting right here like contemplating and thinking about the fact that, you know, the mental health issue could cause all this. But if I just had to make that choice, you kill that beautiful young lady, man. You gotta do the time. You gotta do the time. I know I keep repeating myself a little bit, but I know y'all out there be going back and forth on some of this stuff too, man. And that's just human nature. It's just human nature.
And the DNA evidence that was found under Karina's fingernails, which matched Chanel's, the method used to test that DNA is very controversial. It's not even in use anymore, and the lab that did it, it's an unlicensed lab. It's not even in New York. Yet, on the prosecution side, he had injuries to his hand that matched the injuries. He did confess to it. He knew the area well. He had said things about hurting women previously, and just because the DNA method is controversial doesn't mean it's wrong. Chanel's trial ended with a hung jury. They couldn't decide on his guilt. He was, however, retried 5 months later.
It was the late afternoon on Tuesday, August 2nd of 2016. It's a summer evening. And a young woman who had worked a full day at her job came home to where she lived with her mother and her father in a small hamlet in the southern part of our county. Inside that preserve, in broad daylight, about a mile away from her home, that the unthinkable happened. The unimaginable happened. This young, attractive, vibrant, full of life young lady was viciously and savagely attacked. She was thrown to the ground by her assailant, who you will learn was 8 to 9 inches taller than her and 40 to 50 pounds heavier than her. He grabbed her and threw her to the ground. She was caught by surprise. Her attacker pummeled her. He punched her over and over again to her face, blackening her eyes, bruising her face, punching her in her mouth, punching her in her teeth, breaking, fracturing, cracking her front teeth. He beat her. She struggled. She tried to get away. She couldn't. He straddled on top of her, placing his knees like a catcher on her chest. And he placed both of his hands around her neck. And he choked her. He choked her until she couldn't resist anymore. He choked her until she couldn't struggle anymore. He choked her until she couldn't breathe anymore. He choked her until she died. Alone. Scared.
And during his second trial, there was even more controversy, if you can believe it.
There's been 2 weeks of testimony in the retrial of 22-year-old Chanel Lewis of East New York. And Monday, defense attorneys plan to submit motions seeking a hearing based on an anonymous letter mailed to them and the Queens District Attorney Friday.
You see, during the trial, an anonymous little letter was sent in to the Legal Aid Society, who were providing legal aid to Chanel. And it was an anonymous letter believed to have been written by a police officer in the NYPD. And this letter had a lot of things to say about the investigation into Katrina Vetrano's murder. 1. After the murder, the police were told to be on the lookout for 2 jacked white guys from Herrick Beach. How that was what the police were told to be on the lookout for right after murder, by the way, don't know. Maybe witnesses had seen 2 jacked white guys in the area shortly after she was killed. But even though the police were told to be look out for them, the police just randomly tested like 360 black men who lived in the area. This eventually, like on a hunch, leads to a young black man who lives in like the neighboring area who has learning disabilities.
That police were looking for 2 jacked up white guys who were from Howard Beach. The defense claims the anonymous letter demonstrates key evidence had been withheld during the retrial.
But,
man, I gotta just say this real quick too, y'all. Cause if Mike insinuating it, he is the one who was insinuating it, so I might as well speak on it. And he been talking about it for a little while in this video now, about the possibility that Channel, whatever the guy name, didn't actually do this. Now, if that's true, and only God knows, and he knows, and the victim, I can't remember her name right now, but rest in peace to her. Only them the ones who truly know. But if he didn't do it, then he shouldn't get no punishment. And the whole thing about the Mike insinuating that this may be a racist thing. Like, he insinuating that since they don't know who did it, or they can't find out who did it, why did they DNA test all these hundreds of black men in the area? Then they pick one of the most weak is not the word, but one of the most vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, slow type black men to attach to this. But for me, it's just 2 things that just don't change the fact for me. And that is the fact that the damn DNA, and he admitted to doing it. Like, if he admitted to doing it, then, bro, I gotta take him for his word. I was finna say something crazy as hell then. I don't know, y'all, but at the end of the day, man, I still feel like he did it. I do. And he need life in prison.
During that second trial, a computer CSI technician testified that he had gone through Channel Lewis's phone and he had found a lot of strange stuff. After the murder, it appeared, Channel Lewis had been Googling the murder in Spring Creek Park, had saved pictures of the investigation, had been Googling about trials, had been Googling about prosecutors, about what to do if you're arrested, and also for information about the Sacrament of Penance. Interesting things to be Googling if you killed somebody. His cell phone also pinged a cell tower near Spring Creek Park. That was at the very time Karina was killed, so it definitely seems like he was in the area that very day.
That's another clue. That's another clue. He did it, man. He fucking did it, bro. I'm convinced of that, y'all. He did it.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
Guilty.
The thunderous reaction from the Vetrano side of the courtroom was unmistakable when the jurors delivered a guilty verdict on each of the 4 counts against Chanel Lewis.
At the end of Channel's second trial, he was found guilty. He was sentenced to life without parole.
Sometimes difficult not to become jaded or even sometimes numb. And not only what I see, but what we collectively see on virtually a daily basis. And then you're confronted with a crime such as this. A case like this has an effect to shake you because it kind of dispels the fallacy that as long as we confine ourselves to our neighborhood and do what we do on a daily basis in the presence of our loved ones and our neighbors, we're somehow safe.
And there you have it. That is the case of Karina Vetrano. And there's still a lot of debate over his guilt, or lack thereof. It's a tough one. And you would kind of hope that he did it, as horrible as that is to say, simply because you don't want to make a tragic case even more tragic by having the wrong person behind bars. You'd hope that they have the right guy. How Channel was convicted was and is controversial. Doesn't mean it's wrong though, but it does mean it's not fair, which is what he was entitled to. Over 40,000 people have signed a petition asking for the case to be reopened. I think in a case this horrific, you well and truly want to make sure you have the right person, because in a rush to judgment, the only person who wins is the person who got away. well, I'll leave it to you to
True.
decide. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Really means a lot to me that you did so. And also thank you so much to everybody who ordered one of these snazzy That Chapter shirts. I can't thank you enough. They should be shipping next month, and there's still some available, I think. They're a limited edition, but there still should be some available down below if you want to pick one up before they're gone forever. That about wraps up this one, so yeah. You know, we can check out but yeah, that about wraps up this whole one. So yeah, check out the That Chapter podcast, which is a new episode out every Monday. Me and Keith are talking about some wacky stuff. I'm sure we always are. So check it out. And you know, I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and all the usual stuff. But until the next old video, please, as always, take care of each other and yourselves. Because I love you. Mike out.
Man, y'all, this one right here, man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and I'm not gonna like be mad at y'all, or not even that. That's the wrong terminology I'm trying to use. Well, yeah, in a way, yeah. I can't be mad at any of y'all out there who may think that he didn't do it or think that he did do it. But just me personally, I think that he did freaking do it, man. And he did that shit, so goddamn it, you need life in prison. This whole video, and I did not know this video was gonna go this way. It's so crazy because of how I started off the intro and what I was talking about just fit perfectly damn near with this story, man. But it's too many different things that would lead you to say it's him. The DNA, the fact that he lived in the area, the number one fact that he confessed about it. Now it'll be people out there who will make an argument, oh, he mentally challenged, so mentally challenged people admit to stuff that they never did and stuff like that. I get all that, but then I feel like the little cherry on top, the little sprinkles that was put on the Sunday of him committing murder was when the fact that they pinged his cell phone or something. He was found in that area around that time. Like, bro, he freaking did it, man. That's why I started clapping along with her family, man. Good for his ass, man. Get that life in prison, dude. I'm sorry, y'all. And I will admit myself that it do seem like he was a little mentally challenged, but that just don't excuse it. I know I have said this shit 100 times by now on this video, man, but it don't freaking excuse it, y'all. And like I said, Mike was insinuating some stuff that it may be this whole theory about why he basically was saying that the police chose this guy to be the fall guy to this murder. And I mean, I just can't get with that theory, man, because it ain't nothing going for that theory. But it's a lot of evidence pointing towards that it's him, and that's what I'm gonna believe, y'all. And I'm happy, me personally, that he got life in prison. But I digress. This was a great motherfucking That Chapter Wednesday, my brothers and sisters. Hey, if you made it this far, man, I really appreciate y'all being here. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, do all that. And come on back tomorrow, because I most definitely will be back tomorrow. And until then, my friends, gotta leave with this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.